What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, and today it is time to review Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. You see here I got the double feature Blu-ray, okay? And I checked out Halloween 1 by Rob Zombie. I already reviewed that. Today we're going to do Halloween 2, and on Halloween Day in 2 days, we will be doing a ranking of the entire Halloween franchise, including the Rob Zombie films and including Halloween Ends. So getting into Halloween 2 by Rob Zombie, this is a movie that is seemingly universally hated by Halloween fans, and I wasn't a huge fan of it, but I'm not really a huge fan of Rob Zombie's movies and dialogue, and I'll get into all of that. That being said, I never found it to be this horribly offensive pile of garbage movie. And part of that is because I kind of come to these movies when it's ever a Rob Zombie Halloween movie. I know there's only 2, but both of them, I understand that Rob Zombie's doing a reboot, a retelling, a reimagination, like I said in the other review. So he has a little more flexibility, and all the characters don't have to be exactly as I expect because it's a completely different franchise. Now, because it's the second movie, however, he does need to keep his characters somewhat, I would think, in line with how they were in the first movie because he's doing his own thing. So he's created these characters, and now we have a second movie. So now I'm looking back at the first movie to see if that continuity is working, although there should be some changes because there is a lot of PTSD, which is what this movie is really about when it comes to Laurie Strode and Annie Brackett. There's some PTSD going on, obviously. So, I mean, I'm not saying the characters have to be the exact same as they were in the first movie, but what I'm saying is I'm not comparing the characters in this movie to the original Halloween series. I'm going to compare them to the original Rob Zombie's Halloween. And when I do that, there are still some issues with the characterization in this movie, and I will definitely get into that. But I want to start with just some of the things I liked about this movie, because I don't think, like I said, I don't find this movie to be trash. I just checked it out again, and I liked it even more than I remember. I don't really watch these movies very often. Maybe I've seen it 3 times since the late 2000s when they came out. They're just not my favorite kind of thing. But I don't find, like I said, I don't find them horribly offensive. I just don't find them as nearly as good as the OG movies like Halloween 1, Halloween 2, even Halloween 3, even though that's not about Michael Myers. Halloween 4, I enjoy all those a lot more. But on my most latest watch of Halloween 2 by Rob Zombie, I found a lot to like. Not gonna lie, like I enjoy, and again, a lot of people probably went to this movie expecting it to be kind of a remake-ish of Halloween 2, but I never thought that at all. I thought that it was gonna be Rob Zombie's own thing. The first movie was kind of his own thing, more of an origin story, and this movie is more of a story of Laurie Strode and her struggles with dealing with what happened in the first movie. She has massive PTSD, and also about Annie Brackett, of course, played by the amazing and wonderful and awesome Danielle Harris. And this movie focuses a little bit on her as well, and she's kind of changed. She's kind of a bit more of a health nut now. She's worrying about what her dad's eating. She's worrying about extending her life, and it's just kind of different from her original character, but just subtly, it's very believable because it's part of what she's dealing with, part of the trauma and everything. And you can see the scars and everything. So I like the approach and the idea for this movie. A lot of people complain about the opening sequence. Oh, it's practically all a dream or a nightmare. So, I mean, yeah, I can get it. I would be pissed if like a whole movie, and there's movies that've done this, where you watch a whole movie and like, okay, the entire plot is rendered meaningless. It was like all a dream. And you're like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. But this, we're talking about 5 to 10 minutes in the beginning, and it was pretty damn cool. It was a pretty cool, badass dream sequence. Yeah, it was a dream. Oh, well, it's part of dealing with what the story's telling. It didn't really bother me. And it is an excuse to give us some more Michael Myers killings and everything and crazy Michael Myers scenes. Even if they weren't real, even if they ended up being a dream or a nightmare, they still shot him. We still watch them, still badass. And ultimately, yeah, like I said, if it was like, you know, the whole movie was a dream, yeah, I'd be pissed too. But we're just talking about a few minutes here and there with the dream sequences. Some of the dream sequences are stupid. Some of them were kind of cool and entertaining. But all in all, a nightmare sequence doesn't really bug me too much because it's part of the story of what we're dealing with Laurie's PTSD. A lot of people are also mad about him taking off his mask, which, yeah, a lot of the movie you see him with, there's gruffle. He looks like a freaking scary dude, though. And I don't mind it. And remember in the original movie, 1978, didn't he take off his mask briefly? He took off his mask then, so it's not like it's never been done before. It was done at the first time. And this time, I think it looks a lot more like I would think Michael Myers would look, a lot more terrifying. And you don't see like a really good look at him, but you just see him at just that big beard. And it's just, it fits. I think it fits this universe. Okay, it may not fit the other universe, but it fits this universe. Same with kind of the grunting when he's killing people. It's not my favorite, but it kind of fits this Michael Myers more so because he's just so brutal. And he does put on the mask when he's going to kill, just like when he was a little kid in the first one. When he's ready to do his killing, he put on that freaky clown mask, which, by the way, I forgot to mention, I love that mask. That's why I put it on the thumbnail in that first Halloween Rob Zombie movie, but I love that clown mask. That clown mask is awesome. But here, when he's ready to do his killing, he puts on that mask, and you tell the mask is jacked up because, you know, he's been out there in the elements. He's kind of like a homeless freaking bum, so he looks like a homeless bum. It's all that makes sense. It makes sense. He looks scary as hell, though. And when he puts that mask on, yeah, it's jacked up, and it gets torn at the end. It looks freaking badass. I don't know what people expected. I know, you know, you may say, oh, you're a hypocrite. You were complaining about New Halloween Ends because it wasn't, you know, following what it should have. Well, that's the third movie in a trilogy that went off the rails and went crazy and put a new character in and then didn't connect it because they was trying to do two things at once. And I'll have my complaints about this movie, but I'm just saying, as a follow-up to the first Rob Zombie Halloween, the things I'm talking about aren't that offensive to me. Now, I went to Rob Zombie Halloween 2 and started to watch it, and they brought a new character named Corey Cunningham, and it was like, okay, who's this dude? And the movie followed him and having a relationship, and it did all the thing, and it was so weird. And then at the very end, we get Myers versus Strode at the very end. I would say the same, like, what the freak was this movie? But it doesn't do that. It's a much better follow-up to the original movie as far as the things I've talked about so far. So Myers is a beast. This movie's got a ton of blood, ton of gore, ton of kills. All that is amped up even from Rob Zombie's first Halloween movie, which was pretty damn crazy. And the cinematography. There's some shots out in the darkness, you know, with the car there, the scene with their car. And when Michael Myers first shows up, I think we see him and he kills those people who are messing with him. And it was kind of messed up. They went and they pretty much tried to kill the dude. The girl was like, what are you doing? Stop. I'm like, sorry, dude. Sorry, bro. They jump in the car and then he gets up and he takes them all out. It's pretty awesome. All the visuals there were really cool. Danielle Harris is fantastic in this movie. She's a great actress and she embraces this franchise. She wants to come back. She wanted to be in the new movies if it was possible they could fit her in. And instead we just had to go back to Jamie Lee Curtis. Jamie Lee Curtis is awesome, but we've had her storyline, in my opinion, with H2O. And of course, they jacked it up in the next movie, but we can just ignore that. But we've had her storyline in spades. Danielle Harris wants to be a part of this franchise. She's an amazing actress. She is awesome. Let's make a freaking remake or redo Halloween 5 and bring back Danielle Harris, or excuse me, Halloween 6. Forget the Halloween 6. Bring back Danielle Harris and Halloween 6, or hell, we could redo Halloween 5. Make her the killer. She's an adult now. This is something awesome because she is the killer now. Or we can redo Halloween 6 the right way and bring back Danielle Harris. So we can just say Halloween 6 doesn't count anymore. There's so many things we can do to bring her back, and we need to do that. That aside, she is absolutely amazing in this movie. And her dad in this movie, Brad Dourif, Sheriff Brackett, holy cow, Brad Dourif. Chucky, damn, Chucky can act. He is amazing. And the moment when he finds Annie, who has now been jacked up again, just like in the first movie, but this time she ain't coming back. And he looks just shattered, broken. And it's a very meaningful scene because we're messed up too. Much more effective. And I know they're different characters, but just being a huge fan of Danielle Harris and anyone that she portrays in the Halloween franchise, the way they killed her character off, he didn't even bring back Danielle. It wasn't even Danielle Harris. They recast her because they didn't want to pay her more than like $800 a week. They want to give her pennies basically for the job that she was doing, and recast her in Halloween 6 and killed her off in a bullshit way. It was terrible. This was actually much more meaningful. And she actually got to be in the movie for the majority. They don't kill her off right at the beginning. And I'm not saying I'm happy about any character portrayed by Danielle Harris being killed off, but they did it the right way here. And the way Brad Dourif responds when he finds her is just killer, just amazing. It's just very emotional. And also the scene where Laurie Strode actually finds out she is Michael's little sister is in this movie. It's the only time in the franchise we actually get to see this. It never happens before. We never get to see this reaction. She finds out that she is Angel Myers. freaks out and with her friends when she finds out, and she tries to tell them and shows them in the book and everything. It's absolutely crazy. And so there's a lot of cool moments. I mean, come on. This movie's got a lot of awesome moments in it. And it had the potential to be one of my very favorite Halloween movies. But why don't I watch it very much? Well, I'm going to get into that because it's a Rob Zombie. All due respect to Rob Zombie, and I appreciate people enjoying his dialogue and whatnot. That's all good. It ain't for me, man. I mean, the dialogue, it's not even as bad as the other Halloween movie that he did, but there's just nasty, the way people talk, sick jokes. They talk about just nasty things I don't even like to repeat. I don't even want to repeat.
What's the difference between jam and jelly?
I don't know.
What? You can't jelly your cock up with that girl's ass.
I'm not talking about cussing. Like, I cuss, like I said in the other movie, but damn, just some of the conversations, like who talks that way? I don't know. And so that's just one thing though. I'd say the biggest gripe of this movie is what the hell was he thinking with Dr. Loomis? I get it. He wanted to have him write this book, which propelled the story and why Sheriff Brackett was so pissed at him and how Laurie found out. I gotta have him write a book. He's having some PTSD too from the first movie. But damn, he went from a character like our Donald Pleasance Loomis that we know and love. This is the thing. If he wanted to make Loomis take a different spin on Loomis from the beginning, hey, you got a fresh palette, go ahead. But he didn't. In the first movie, the first Rob Zombie movie, he is a very serious doctor, very smart, and he portrays him in a similar way as the Loomis that we know that was played by Donald Pleasance. In this movie, we have a typical piece of shit, money-hungry, greedy, selfish, sociopathical diva asshole. What the hell? Where did this come from? This doesn't come from nowhere. That's not just PTSD. Like, this dude has turned into an absolute unlikable piece of shit. And he sees this picture like, that's the wrong picture. No, that's not the picture I need. We need to change it. It should be the new Loomis, not the old Loomis. I am the new Loomis now. Fix it, bitch. Who is this guy who writes the book that he reveals everything, and he's in interviews, and okay, yeah, we got a Weird Al cameo, and that was pretty awesome. Loved the Weird Al cameo. But what the hell with Dr. Loomis? It doesn't even match his character in the first movie. That's the biggest problem. So Halloween fans that are looking for the original characters and to respect what we had in the original, they're gonna be pissed. And even new fans who just like, screw the original, I love the Rob Zombie stuff, I think they're gonna not like it. They're gonna like, dude, what the hell? And he could have had a little bit of this, a little bit of going into the darker side, become a little bit of a recluse. We saw that with Donald Pleasance. Donald Pleasance's character even became a bit of a jerk in Halloween 5 and 6. He was more pushy. He was more crazy. He was losing his mind because of Michael Myers. He was still after Michael Myers. He wasn't writing books and becoming a diva. That never happened. He was just kind of going cuckoo over Michael Myers, shaking Jamie Lloyd like, where is he? Where is he, Jamie? Help me! This guy's just an asshole. There's just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He's a piece of shit. And I know there's a little redemption at the end. Even that, he was just trying to be the hero, and I still didn't like him. Actually, I love seeing Michael Myers brutally destroy his ass. And then you have the weirdness in the movie. You have the weirdness. Some of them in the dream sequences, what were they, like pigs or something eating? I forgot what they were. They're kind of cool sequences. I don't mind for certain dream sequences. If you're gonna do weird stuff and bizarre stuff, at least it's a dream or a nightmare, okay? Well, makes a little more sense. But no, the white horse, the mom who's back, by the way, I didn't mention in the last review, but she's just not that great of an actress, all due respect. Sherry Moon Zombie, I'm sorry, just doesn't have it. The delivery and the facial expressions are just not quite there, but she has to be in every movie Rob Zombie does, which already that's a flaw. Anytime you say every movie I do, this person's going to be in it, well, that's a flaw, because you're not casting the best person for the job. You're just casting this individual no matter what. So that's just not right. And Sherry Moon sucks in this movie, and just like she's kind of sucked in the first one, she's this ghost with the white horse, and I think they're kind of dictating what dictating what Michael Myers does, which is stupid. It's kind of like Halloween 6. Like, Michael Myers doesn't take orders from anybody, but now he kind of is. And this movie this is what sequels do. They have your typical original concept, which is kind of made to be one movie. It's hard to do more. These movies aren't made to be, big franchises. That's why it's tough. So that's why these movies always go into the weird. Even the original, eventually they had to go into the weird with Halloween 6, the wacko. This new trilogy, the David Gordon Green bullshit, they go into the weird and wacky in Halloween Ends. It's really weird and wacky, right? And in this movie, we're starting to see signs of the weird and wacky. Didn't know totally crazy, but I'm willing to bet if there was a part 3 Rob Zombie Halloween, it would have been bizarre. Who knows? But we get the weirdest stuff. We get some psychic links like in Halloween 5. It's so funny that every Halloween movie, they say we're doing something fresh and new, but they just recycle old ideas, like the mob story, which was told so much better in Halloween 4 than Halloween Kills. Not even close. So it's just funny. And that's about, the last thing I'll say is that kind of 70s kind of grindhouse kind of style, that flavor that Rob Zombie throws in there. Not a huge fan of it. And that's why I don't watch these a lot. That's why I don't watch either of these a ton. And I don't even know which one I like better. I'm going to think about it for my ranking. But I think they're both good movies with some good ideas. I really enjoy. I think I usually when I go to one of these, I'm going to go to the first one and I'm pretty much done. That's kind of what happens. But I really enjoy watching the origin story of Michael Myers. Whereas Halloween 2, more on the PTSD, but it has a little more weirdness in there. And it's just a bit much for me, despite all the positives I mentioned. And when you put it all together in a blender, you get something that's good, not great. And I said the same thing about Halloween 1 by Rob Zombie. I don't think either of these movies are trash, horrible movies. I don't see that. When I watch Halloween Ends, I see that. What the hell am I watching? Like, this is stupid. And some aspects of this are stupid, yes, but not as stupid. Halloween Kills, absolutely horrible, beginning to end. Can't even watch it. Unwatchable. This has enough positive in it that I can watch it, and enough negative in it that I don't really want to watch it that much. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, as far as Halloween and Halloween 2 from Rob Zombie. I think they're fine, but they're just not my thing for the most part. But there's some awesomeness in Halloween 2 that is not in any other Halloween movie. And there's some awesomeness in Halloween. Both movies have some stuff. So I do watch these from time to time. I don't know, every 5 to 10 years, I will watch these movies. And it was time. I haven't watched them in a long time. So it was time to watch them. And I enjoyed it. I saw a lot of stuff I forgot, a lot of new stuff that I maybe missed. And the last thing I will note is I know there is a director's cut for this. I've never watched it. I may never will watch it unless I need to for the channel. If the channel takes off and people are requesting it, that's one thing. But I have no reason to watch it because the things I've heard about Halloween 2 sound like absolute dog shit, and I have no desire to watch it. What I am interested to check out maybe someday is Halloween 6, the director's cut, which I've never seen either. I've only seen the theatrical. I only own the theatrical. But that would be interesting to do a little review on that and some of the differences. And maybe I'll eventually check out Halloween 2, but I'm just afraid I will hate it because everything I've heard about it sounds god-awful, and I think it would be a pretty miserable experience. So thank you guys so much for checking it out. Let me know what y'all think of Halloween 2 by Rob Zombie, and look forward to Halloween Day coming up soon. And we will be ranking the entire Halloween franchise, including Ends, including Zombies. Oh my God. You guys have a great day. Love you all, and you're awesome. Thank you again, and we'll see you.